Hey everybody, good to be back and recording for you guys again before class tomorrow. So, if you're on Google Classroom like this, you're going to see a couple of things that have changed. So, if you go under your stream, there's some information about your backpack, which is due to your first period on Friday. You can also always go to classwork, online learning introduction to see my class information. So my email address, my office hours, the link to my office hours, how to schedule a meeting, and then your class schedule and work for the week. So you can see here, you got a bell ringer question. You got a few slavery footprint questions, and you're going to be going through an activity for that. And then finally, you're good. This is your biggest assignment, the modern slavery Google Slides. So we had done a couple weeks on grammar just to kind of get you guys used to the online classes. And now we're going to go back to our unit that we've been working on before. So this should hopefully help remind you a little bit about the stuff that we've talked about and what we've learned so far. So you're going to go to classwork and scroll down to the modern slavery section. Your bell ringer is just some questions about how things have been going for you. So, what are the best ways and the worst ways that quarantine has affected your family and friends? So, I asked a little bit about you last week, but I want to know about the people around you. How are they doing? So you could say the best part for my family and friends is, or and then in the next sentence, right? The worst part for my family and friends is, and I gave some examples, right? Not having to go to school, not having to go to work, staying inside, having fun, being bored, right? Everyone's going to be a little bit different. And so tell me what's going on with the people that you care about in your life. So that should be pretty easy. When you're done with that, um, you're going to do two assignments. The first is the slavery footprint questions. So this says to go to the website and click find out next to the green arrow. Then answer all the questions till you get to the end. Type your answer to the questions below. So there's three questions, right? And in your screen, you're going to type 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to answer those three questions and hit submit. If you can't finish it all at once, go ahead and hit the turn in button and you can go back and edit it later, but I don't want you to walk away and lose all that work. So make sure that you turn in what you have as you're going. Remember, any day that I see you working on Google Classroom, I mark you for attendance that day. So that's something that's pretty great about the system. Now, you're going to click on this link, and that's going to take you there. And as you can see from the instructions, says click the find out next to the green arrow. And I even included a picture where I circled the arrow that you're going to click in red, right? So this is the arrow you're going to click. I feel like some people are still going to click the wrong arrow, which will give you a lot of great information about slavery and what works for you, or sorry, what happens to people around the world. All of that's really, really interesting and it's worth reading, but you're not being questioned on that part. You're being questioned on the survey. So if you actually read through all of it at the end, you can click there to take the survey. But I think for most of you, you're going to want to just click that green arrow to get started. And I'm going to go through this whole survey with you in just a minute. But first, I want to go over the other assignment because I think it's a little bit shorter. So this is shorter for me to explain. This is the longer assignment though. So I would do this one last. So for this one, you're going to open up those slides and it says for each slide, you're going to watch the video and read the article and then answer the three questions on the slide. So the three questions are all going to be the same questions for all the types of slavery that we're learning about. It's been a while since we learned about the types of slavery, so hopefully this will help remind you guys, and we'll be reading more articles and learning more things in the coming weeks. So the types of slavery we're going to talk about are forced marriage, child labor, domestic servitude, forced labor, bonded labor, right? And so You guys remember we had to sign that permission slip for it. This is what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks until we get to our little project. And then we'll be done with this unit and we'll move on to the next one. So these are the 3 questions you're going to have to answer for each slide. What is it? Who does it happen to? And where does it happen? So you'll watch the video, right? You can either click on this link right here, or in present mode, you can click on the actual video player, and then you're going to click read the article, and that should give you enough information to answer those 3 questions. What is it? Who does it happen to? And where does it happen? Now, if you get confused by those questions for any of those types of slavery, please go back to the directions because this explains a little bit more. Because number 1 asks, what is it? And I give you a definition. Now, I don't want you just to copy and paste that definition. I want you to tell me what you learned and in your own words, right? What is it? The second question was, who does it happen to? So you want to be specific in that answer. Does it happen to adults, children, men, women, right? What kind of people does it usually happen to? And then what kind of countries does it happen in? So the where question, where does it happen, could be the countries, could be the places. So does it happen in a restaurant, in a field, in a factory, in a house, on the streets? Where does this type of slavery happen, right? So you're going to be answering those 3 questions for each of these 5 types of slavery. Right, and I call this your modern slavery notes because this is going to be very, very helpful for later when you go back to do your final project for this section because you're going to use these notes again. Right. So let me go back to your other assignment. This one probably won't take as long as the other one did, but I'm going to spend some time explaining each part of this and we're going to do it together. So remember, you're going to click this link where it says slavery footprint, and we're going to take the survey together so I can show you. And actually, you can pick which language you want to do, right? So there's all kinds of different languages on here, and it will Google Translate for you for whichever language that you pick. So that's going to help out some of you a lot. So I'm going to keep it in English so that I can read it to you out loud, but we're going to click find out, that green arrow I talked about earlier. And the first thing it's going to do is ask you where you live. You could type in Louisville. You can type in the US. It doesn't really matter, but you need to make sure you hit this green arrow right here. It finds you in the US. And then you want to make sure you hit next. And there's always more information down here if you get stuck. And remember, you can translate this. So let's start with the basics. So it lets you pick a male or female. You can pick a few different skin colors, whatever you feel like. And then you're going to put your age and then hit next. Do you have children? So hopefully none of you have children, right? But then the next one it says what's under your roof and you're going to build your house. So I've got 1 bedroom, got 1 bathroom. I don't have a motorcycle or anything like that. So we're going to move on to the next one. And then this says what's on your plate. So you're going to think about for each one, click on each one of these categories and put on your plate, what do you eat the most of? So I eat some fruits and veggies. I eat a lot of fish and seafood. I'm allergic to milk and eggs, so I don't eat any milk and eggs. I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of rice. And then the last one is your appetite. I like to eat a lot, so I'm more like the bear than I am the bird. So I'm going to move it that way. Then you're going to click that green next button every time. And so you can always click over here to give more details, right? So if you want to figure out what goes in grains and nuts, right? How many of those, you can answer all those questions, but you don't have to, that's optional. Right. And now this is the medicine cabinet. So this one you have to read the directions. Tap on the items you don't use. So things you don't really use. So I don't really use sunblock that much. I don't really wear makeup, so I'm gonna probably get rid of this whole row. And then, oh, I don't wear perfume, right? So you're just gonna go through, and anything you don't use, go ahead and get rid of it. And then hit next, and as with all of them, you can go through and you could put exactly, right, how many you have. So if you wear a lot of perfume, you could make that number really high if you wanted. Right, so next one, how much jewelry do you own? I don't really own that much jewelry. I don't think any of it's real jewelry either. Maybe I have one 14 karat gold thing from my family, but I can't really think of anything else. Maybe I have one silver thing. I just don't really have a lot of jewelry. And if you just put yours at 0, that's fine too. If you want to be more specific, oh, someone's really rich here. They must have all these different kinds of things. But I'm just going to move on to the next one. Right. So the next one says electronics. So how much electronics do you have? So over here is a technophobe. They don't use a lot of electronics. And then over here on this other side is a gadget geek. They love electronics. So I would put myself probably somewhere over here like I do. I like my games. I like my electronics. So I'm probably going to be further on that side over there. And you can put exactly if you want. Let's see, I don't have a desktop or any of these things, but I got a smartphone and a laptop, a hard drive, e-reader, I got some earbuds, got a TV. I don't think I have speakers. I don't have it. Oh, I do have a digital camera, and I have my work tablet and my own tablet. So that helps me show exactly how many that uh, that I use, right? And all this information is personal. You don't actually have to share with me in the end what you put on each category. It's just for you to think about. Now, I don't really play sports. I think a lot of people are probably going to pick soccer and stuff, but go ahead and click on whichever ones are true for you, as many that are true for you. And again, over here, you can put you guys probably don't play golf, but how many helmets do you have? And how many pocket knives? And how many footballs and water bottles? Well, I probably own some water bottles, right? I have a cooler. So, anything that you do have, right, is going to go on that side. If you play any of the sports, you're going to click on that. Right, and this one is how many clothes do you have? Now, it assumes you have 50 of everything. I don't think anyone has that many. Leather shoes, I don't have too many. Regular shoes, I have some. So we're just gonna try to guess, right, how many of each ones you have. It doesn't have to be an exact count. You don't need to go through and count your clothes for your assignment. Just guess for each one of these. Okay. And if you want to get specific, you can. But again, this is just to find out how much stuff you use, right? So it's not necessarily better to have more. Now this one, hopefully everyone's answer is 0. Same here. But this is actually not a real question because you can't even get an answer. It says we're not going to make you answer, but this stuff can be really bad for people. It involves a lot of slavery, and so we have to be really careful. And most people's answer is 0, but there are some people out there who would answer differently. And so that's why we're learning about some of that stuff, just to make sure that we know what not to do. right? And so once you've done all of that stuff, right, once you've finished your survey, they'll tell you how many slaves, right, would be working for you based on all the things you own, right? Those slaves might have made the clothes, they might have made the makeup, right? All of those different things. And it says, let's be honest, one is too many. Right, so this says 26. Some of you might have more, some of you might have less, but even one, it's too many. So it's going to talk a little bit about things you could do to help companies, right? And you can actually email, right? You don't have to, but you could. It gives you a chance to do that. And I think I have a chance to email some of those companies and tell them what you think. So once you're done with this, then you have your number and you're going to go back and answer your 3 questions. So, right, how many slaves work for you? For me, it was 26. Why do you think you have that many slaves working for you? What things do you use a lot of? Right, so for me, I use a lot of electronics. Maybe the parts of the electronics I have to mine for, or they have to, dig up, and they have to have people build them. We know that a lot of smartphones and stuff are built in factories where people are not very happy. Right. And then what can people do to not need so many slaves working for them? So maybe I could buy less electronics, maybe I could recycle the ones that I use, or try to use them for longer, not just buy new ones when they get old. Try to, get them secondhand from someone else, right? So think about the kind of things that you and other people could do to not need, in my case, 26 people, right? To maybe not need any. So that's what you're going to be doing in that assignment. Those are your 3 for the week. This all under classwork in modern slavery. Got your bell ringer, got your questions that we just did, and then the Google Slides. That'll probably be the longest assignment that you might have the most trouble with. So make sure that you ask me and let me know if you get stuck on that one or any of the assignments. But you can always go to your online learning introduction and find this contact information for me. Come to my office hours 2 to 3, come to class, right, schedule a meeting. All of those are great ways to keep in touch. So let me know if you guys need anything. Until next time, bye.